everybody. This is Massa Washington, and welcome to the Massa Washington Show. Today is the first episode of the show. I am excited and glad to be doing this after a while of pondering as to whether I wanted to do this or not. And also, family and friends have been urging me on now for the longest to join this popular medium of communication. I didn't think I was ready at the time because I'm busy with a lot of projects. And so I was thinking about whether I wanted to do this or not. But like the saying goes, right? Anytime is always the right time to do the right thing. So here I am with my maiden edition of the Massa Washington Show. First, I would like to extend appreciation to my childhood girlfriend, Miss Lufen Stewart. Lufen has been encouraging me for the past 5 years to do this. She even sent me so many different educational videos and clips on how to do or conduct a live broadcast. So, Lufen Stewart, I dedicate this first episode of the Massa Washington Show to you for being a fantastic friend and girlfriend, for always wanting the best for me and always thinking that I have the potential to do great things. Thank you, Lufen. This is for you. Today on the Massa Washington Show, I will be speaking on several topics. As you know, this is elections season in Liberia, uh, Republic of Liberia, West Africa, and the entire country, including Liberians and friends of Liberia in the diaspora, are sucked up in this election euphoria. And we are receiving some very interesting numbers as per the candidates, the senatorial legislative candidates. But the most, of course, interesting of all are the candidates who are vying for the presidency of the Republic of Liberia. So it's gripping, it's a cliffhanger. The two most favored candidates, former Vice President of Liberia, His Excellency Ambassador Joseph Yeman Boyka, is a very strong contender, and he's, according to latest update from the National Elections Commission, NEC today, Ambassador Boyka is in the lead, and followed by incumbent president, His Excellency Dr. George Manuia. He is a very close second in this elections cliffhanger. So we will be bringing you more detail of the elections as we go on. I will also be talking about the blunder that Canada did a few weeks ago in Canada when they inadvertently honored a former Nazi war criminal. So this guy fought for the Nazi. He was a Hitler guy. He was in the Waffen SS, and the Waffen SS of Hitler were like the foot soldiers. They were the ones who were at the front. They were the ones who were going to the villages. They were the ones who were clearing the way, and they did all sort of atrocities. And this guy, since the end of World War II, he seemed to have slipped through the cracks. He now lives in Canada. He's a Canadian citizen, and he's been doing a lot of quote unquote philanthropic work with the community in Canada. And he was honored recently as a hero. So we're going to take a deeper look into that as well. And of course, if you are in the United States of America and you are following the news closely, that is, if you are a news junkie like me and you're following the local news here, that is American news, you will know that the great United States of America does not have a speaker of his House of Representatives. Yes, not making this up. The United States of America does not have a speaker currently. We will get into that and provide you more details as we go on. And then, of course, Israel is at war with the militant group Hamas, and it's really bad over there in Gaza. On both sides, people are losing loved ones, children, babies are being killed. We've seen some graphic pictures on the internet. We're going to also go into that as well. But first, I would like to take a moment to remember a young lady who was dear to my heart. This weekend, or last weekend rather, we woke up to the shocking and devastating news of the passing of Miss Seattle T. Townsend. Seattle is a young lady who's like she's dear to a lot of people, and Seattle was a staunch member of the ANC, but she was just one of those young people who love Liberia, love Liberians, and she worked with everybody across the board. Seattle was my Facebook friend for many, many years. Young as she was, she sent me a Facebook request. I think it was 6 or 7 years ago, and I okayed it. And we have started communicating. She will call me sometimes, check on me, and we just got to know each other through Facebook. We talk sometimes, we text back and forth. But I had the honor and privilege of meeting Seattle last year when I served as keynote speaker at the ANC convention held in Florida, the United States of America. Seattle was there because she was one of the main supporters of Mr. Cummings of the ANC. And when I got there, she recognized me immediately. And I was so glad to see this wonderful young person that I have been communicating with via Facebook for all these years. I couldn't find the pictures that we took together, but Seattle stole my heart. And since we returned from Florida, we have kept in touch. Seattle had the habit of waking me up on Saturday morning, like around 7 something Saturday morning. She will text Madam Washington. She always called me Madam Washington. She didn't call me anything else. She didn't call me Sister Massa, but she called me Madam Washington. Sierra would text Madam Washington, good morning. Are you up? Can we chat? Can I call you now? And then, of course, I would text her and say, sure, call me right now, or I will call you, and we would start talking. And most of the conversation was just around either, Madam Washington, I'm just checking on you. I'm calling to check in to find out how you are. You're one of my favorite Liberian women. I love you a lot. Love your energy. And then the rest of it will be all talk about Liberia. Seattle loved Liberia. She was looking to go back to Liberia to do great things for Liberia and to help the youth of that country. It is devastating is an understatement for how we feel now. Those of us who were privileged to have met her in her young, short life. So I would like to take this time to extend my deepest condolences to the family of Sierra, her parents, her son, and of course her ANC family. I can see how your hearts are breaking on social media. We will remember Sierra for the lovely, brilliant, decent, just good human being she was. So this is in memory of Miss Seattle Thompson, who we unfortunately lost this gone weekend. Um, we will we will now go into the Liberian elections, and I will provide you with the latest update of the elections. Of course, is no secret; it's everywhere in the media. As of today, Monday, October 16, the National Elections Commission of Liberia, NEC, has updated its national tally from votes cast last Tuesday for uh, various seats in the Republic of Liberia. So we had people contesting for the senatorial seat. I think we had 100 persons contesting for 30 senatorial seats, and I think we had 800 and I think 80 or 840 persons contesting for 73 representative seats, and of course we have 20 individuals, 18 men and 2 females, contesting the presidency of the Republic of Liberia. So the entire process has been really interesting. Liberians are beginning to be more interested in what is happening in the country in terms of the power of their votes. This year, the Elections Commission is reporting that more, we, they saw more people come out to vote in the elections than any recent time in the Liberia's history, any recent time. So we have more people voting this time around. Is because people are passionate about governance issues in Liberia. There are some people who are of the opinion that the government needs to be changed. And then, of course, there are other people, supporters of the government, who think they are doing a good job and they need to stay. So these various group of Liberians rather went to the ballot box last week, Tuesday, to make their voices heard. And so we are now receiving the results of those votes cast last week. As we speak, there has been a progression of the vote tally or the vote count. Last week, we had, when the first set of polls was out, we had Ambassador Joseph Boycott, who is also the former vice president of Liberia. He was leading the current president, Mr. George Weah. So last week, mid last week, Ambassador Boycott was leading. I think that first result came out on Thursday, so he was in the lead. And it's been a progression. By Friday, however, the Elections Commission provided a second update, and this time we saw incumbent President George Weah in the lead. And of course, today in the Republic of Liberia, the Elections Commission has again updated the public on where the voting is and who is where. So as per the National Election Commission's tally report, consolidated for all 15 counties, out of 5,890 polling places, 5,464 polling places have been called, meaning that those votes have come in. And this constitutes about 92.82% of the overall national votes. And as we speak, the Unity Party of former Vice President Ambassador Joseph Yuma Boycott leads with 748,463 votes, which constitute 43.70% of the total. The CDC, headed by incumbent President His Excellency George Weah, is a very close second to Ambassador Boycott. His vote as we stand is 578, constituting 43.65% of the votes. So it's a slim margin. That's what I said earlier. It's a cliffhanger situation. This seems like it's anybody's election. It seems like Ambassador Boycott stands a chance, a very good chance of unseating President George Weah. But President George Weah also seemed to stand a chance of maintaining his seat as the president of the Republic of Liberia. So according to NEC, Of the total vote cast so far, we have 1,712,821 votes, valid votes, that is, of all the votes that were counted, that were cast and that have been counted up to this point. Invalid votes is showing a whopping figure of 105,719. So 105,719 votes are declared invalid, meaning that people didn't vote properly. Either, yes, they didn't vote properly or there was something wrong with the ballot. So those votes have been disqualified, and it's a substantial amount, especially when you have some candidates who were expected to do well in the pollings don't seem to be doing well at all, and people already have concerns. So when you have invalid votes as high as the number here, then it tends to maybe answer some of the nagging questions that we have. So the total of the entire votes cast so far is 1,818,540. So let me just say here that at this time, there are several key counties that are important to candidates contesting office, whether senatorial candidates, whether legislative candidates, and whether candidates for the vice presidential and also presidential slot. Certain counties, because of their demographic and the size of the county and also the number of people, the population, they tend to be key counties. Like, for example, you have Montserrado County. Montserrado County is where, in Montserrado County, we have the seat of the government, and it's the capital and the capital city, which is Monrovia. So Monrovia is in Montserrado County. That's where every important thing takes place. It is the gateway to our economy. We have the National Freeport of Monrovia is there. We have the only international airport, the Roberts International Airport is there. We have all of the government major ministries and parastatus agencies there in Montserrado County, Monrovia, the capital. So Montserrado County is key. And according of a point of correction, the Roberts International Airport is actually in Maghibie County, not Montserrado County. So I want to make that correction. So we know that Montserrado County, there were 900 plus persons who have registered to vote. And as we speak, hold on, where's my tally sheet? So there are substantial numbers of votes rather in Montserrado County that any of the candidates will need if they must win this election. So the current president, George Weah, and Joseph Boyka are going neck to neck in Montserrado County. It's anybody's win. Any of them could finally win Montserrado County. That is, any of them could have more votes in Montserrado County than the others. I don't know though how significant it might be, because other candidates took a piece of the vote, and then also the voting system in Liberia is not an electoral college type of system like you have in the United States, because in the United States, the person who wins a state, no matter how marginal their win is, if they win a state, they win all of the electoral votes in that state. For example, if you have a state that has maybe 10 electoral votes and both candidates vied for that state and both of them had substantial numbers, but one person has a little bit more than the other person, the person who has more votes will take the 10 electoral college votes for that state. That's how the votes are counted to determine the president of the Republic of the president of the United States of America. But Liberia does not have that system. With us, we have a one man, one vote type of system. So even though one person could have more votes in maybe Montserrado County or any of those popular counties, that person could still lose the national elections if their opponent or the competitor has more votes in other counties. Yeah. So that's it for Montserrado County. And then, of course, we have Nima County. Uh, Nima County is one of those counties with a lot of votes. And Nima County has gone to Ambassador Joseph Boyka already. He has overwhelming a percentage of the votes there. And we have Bunk County. Bunk County is located in central Liberia, and it is also one of those populated counties. So any of the candidates winning the elections finally will do fine if they can win substantial amount of votes from Bunk County. And of course, Magibi County seem to be in the play now. I'm calling Montserrado County, Bunk County, and Magibi County as the three must have for at least the two candidates. I'm not talking about the other candidates because they are not going to be in a runoff, if there will be a runoff, or they are not going to get their 50 plus 1%. So I'm just focusing on the two main candidates, that is Ambassador Joseph Boyka and His Excellency George Weah, President of Liberia. So one of them or either of them will have to win a substantial amount of votes in Montserrado County, a substantial amount of votes in Magibi County in order to pull it off. Or they will have to win a substantial amount of votes in Bond County and a substantial amount of votes in uh, Montserrado County. So the way I'm looking at it is that Montserrado County, Margibi County, and Bond County are the three battleground counties. So if this was the United States of America, this will be Montserrado County will probably be the Florida. Margibi will probably be the Georgia, and Bond County will probably be Ohio, because these are must-win states in the United States of America for anybody who is going to go to, who will eventually become president of the United States. So right now we have these three counties. George Weah is leading in Bond County right now. Ambassador Joseph Boyka is leading in Magibi County. And in Montserrado County, they are neck to neck. I think Weah has a slight lead or so. But out of the three counties that I just spoke about, the winner will have to have substantial amount of votes from at least two of the three counties. So either Ambassador Boyka will have to get a lot of votes from Montserrado County and a lot of votes from Magibi, or a lot of votes from Magibi and Bond County together, or a lot of votes from Bond County and Magibi or Montserrado. And that scenario also plays out for incumbent President George Weah. I also want to say that I've observed how polarizing the elections has made Liberians. We are much more polarized now since these elections. It's really interesting. Um, People are responding to elections issues as if to say it's a zero sum game, meaning that it's either them or us. People are not looking at elections as a national constitutional exercise that all of us as Liberians must take part in. It's part of our democracy. It's part of what makes our governance structure important and effective. People are actually looking at these elections as a do or die situation. It's zero sum game. So if you don't agree with people or if you're not supporting the candidate, you can be the best person. You can be a nice person. You can be a fair person. None of that matters from what I'm seeing. If you want to maintain your friendship, then you must suck up, shut your mouth, have no opinion, and just support your family and friends in their choice of what they want to see. And it's sad. It is sad because we must understand that we are different, we're all different people, we have different perspectives, we see things differently. While I may love you and support you in so many other things at other times, but if I don't support you this time, it doesn't mean that I do not love you or I do not value you or I do not care about you. It simply means that this time I do not see things your way. But people are not understanding it that way. People are severing long term, beautiful relationships. People are disrespecting people, they're bullying people on the social media. People are being so uncharacteristically toxic in this particular election cycle, and it is sad. Having said that, to climax that particular topic, I would like to call out former commissioners of the National Elections Commission, NEC. I saw a video yesterday with two commissioners, two former commissioners of NEC, one commissioner and the other is the chairman, former chairman of the National Elections Commission, Mr. James Fomoya. We all call him Jimmy affectionately. I know Jimmy very well. I mean, I saw him on that video. They had called a press conference, I think it was Thursday or Friday, to declare that the Unity Party has won the elections and demanding that the elections be called now. It was shocking. It was shocking, and I find it unfortunate because with all the euphoria and all the anxiety, all the misinformation that is going around about these elections, to have the former chairperson of the National Elections Commission, James Fomoyan, and one of his former commissioner, co-commissioner, actually spearhead or be key officials of a group or gathering that is calling to circumvent the entire electoral process, calling to shortcut. You want the whole process to be shortcut because you think, according to you and according to your numbers, you think your candidate has won. So there is no need to go through the process. Mr. Fomoya is supporting Ambassador Boyka. That's his choice. That's good. But please, Let's wait for the official body that is responsible to handle all of these elections issues, which is the National Elections Commission NEC. So to see Mr. James Fomoyan, former commissioner, chairman of the National Election Commission, join the frenzy, join the hype, actually adding to the anxiety, adding to the polarization, adding to the conspiracy theories of these elections without deference and without giving the benefit of the doubt to his colleague, Ms. David Ella Brown. Just yesterday, Jimmy was in her shoes. Just yesterday, he was under a lot of pressure. There were elections that were held under him, where people had the worst thing to say about him. People called him names, disrespected him. Some of it was baseless. We were against the disrespect that he suffered. So to see him now do the same thing to his colleague, Miss Brown, is unfortunate. And this is where the biblical adage that says, to whom much is given, much is expected. So when you have reached a certain status in life, in your community, in your country, especially as far as being the chairperson of the National Elections Commission, that's a huge job and responsibility. You cannot be seen to be a frivolous person. Let other people who do not know better, it's bad for anybody to misbehave, but people who do not know better, people who would be anxious, they haven't gone through the training that someone like Jimmy Foreman has gone through. You don't want to give excuses for anything, but sometimes you can understand how people will be anxious. Everybody wants the person to win. Every time the number goes up in favor of the CDC and some CDC person is calling for the elections now. They want them to declare their man the winner now. The Unity Party is doing the same thing. But when you have an official at the level of a former election commission chairperson join this madhouse, then you begin to understand why Liberia is in deep trouble, why we do everything upside down. So, Jimmy, I'm calling you out. I'm calling you out because I think you were completely disappointing. You were out of order. Um, so I would like to appeal to my countrymen, to all of us. Please, let's exercise restraint. Hopefully, these elections will be over very soon. I mean, imagine out of 5,890 polling stations, we already have 5,467 that have been called already. So, we're almost there. Please, everybody, let's bear patience. Let's give the Elections Commission the opportunity to respect the process. I know we all have concerns. We all see things differently, but let's not be conspiracy theorists, please. Thank you. My next topic is this Nazi accidental quote unquote hero that was on in Canada a couple of weeks ago. I think it's like maybe 3 weeks ago or so. But I was reading it and also watching it, and it was like completely shocking and amazing. This held my interest because Liberia also went to war, and we have the issue of the War Crimes Court that is still, up in the air because of the level of atrocities that were committed in the Liberian Civil War. We had the TRC, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, of which I served on as one of the commissioners, and we came up with this 490-page, I think 470-page document. And part of the recommendations is that the Truth Commission, the TRC, has recommended prosecution for those who, according to the TRC Act, bear the greatest responsibility for the atrocities in Liberia. So when I came across this story, it resonated with me And I kind of figure that Liberians will be able to relate to this because we come from similar situation and just recently. So this former Nazi Waffen SS soldier guard, his name is Yaroslav Honka. And he, at the end of, following the end of World War II, he sought refuge in Canada. And he's been living in Canada since. He now has a Canadian citizenship. He's a citizen of Canada. And he was able to worm his way through the upper echelon of the Canadian society. So the president of Canada, Justin Trudeau, is his friend. They all know him. The speaker of the Canadian Parliament, Mr. Anthony Rota, he's just resigned. They're all friends. So this guy, this former Nazi criminal and murderer, found refuge in Canada, completely flew under the radar, and he emerged as this new war hero. So when they had the UN conference recently in New York, the president of Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky, of course, he attended the conference, and he had been making the rounds of Western countries, lobbying for support for his war against the invasion of Russia. And so Mr. Zelensky, of course, met with President Biden and other White House officials. And then from there, he went to Canada to meet with Justin Trudeau, or Trudeau rather, and other Canadian officials. So while Zelensky was there, the Canadian government, through the House of Parliament, decided to honor this Nazi war criminal. He is the guy on the picture. He is the guy, right, with a lot of gray hair, who like he's bending his head and he's looking at his hands. He's in a brown coat suit. So they decided to honor him since Zelensky and other dignitaries were there. So the Parliament, the Canadian Parliament, went ahead and organized this program. And the Speaker of the Canadian Parliament, he's the one in the picture on the left that's bending down, that's looked like he's wearing a white bow, a white collar something, and he's shaking the hands of the president of Ukraine, Zelensky. So they had this big program. They said about 200 or more people came to the Canadian House of Commons, that is their House of Representatives, to honor this former Nazi war perpetrator. And they honor him. It was the Canadian Speaker of the House of Commons who read the citation, who read the honoring plaque that they gave this guy. And they describe him as a humanitarian who has been working in the interests of humanity, and how in World War II he fought against the Soviet Union at the time, because the Soviet Union comprised a lot of states. It got broken away under the Reagan administration. Now you have only Russia and other countries, but at that time it was the Soviet Union. So at the time, this Nazi war criminal, Yaroslav Honka, fought against the Soviet Union in World War II. Quote unquote, he was fighting for the liberation of Ukraine. Now, but what is wrong about this picture is that if you know your history, or if you remember what happened in World War II, you will know that there were two groups of people. You had the axis of power, which was Hitler, Nazi Germany, Benito Mussolini of Italy, and Japan, the Emperor of Japan, who actually bombed Pearl Harbor, that really got America deeply involved in the war. So these three guys were the major axis of power. Some people call them axis of evil. And then you had the allies on the other side. So the allies comprise the United States of America, Great Britain, France, whatever was left of its resistance, because during World War II, the Nazis, they went into France to overpower, they occupied France, but the French resisted. They fought like hell to free the country. So France, Belgium, all those other countries were part of the allies. But the major allies were the United States of America, Germany, Great Britain, the Soviet Union, and also China. Those were the superpowers, five that were part of the allies, and then other smaller countries. Yes, even China was part of it. So the Soviet Union actually fought with the allies. They were allied with the United States of America and all these other people. And they were fighting the occupation, Nazi occupation of Ukraine. So if you say you were fighting in World War II and you fought against the Russians, it means that you were a member of the Hitler or Nazi. You were a Nazi under Hitler. You were. Because in World War II, it was the Russians who actually liberated Ukraine. The Russians fought against the Nazi, Hitler and his supporters. The Russians fought them in Ukraine. And so this Yaroslav Honka, who said he was a war hero in Ukraine, he fought the Russians. That's how. So while they were reading, while the Speaker of the House of Commons of Canada was reading this citation, a smart journalist in England is watching all of this, and he said, no, it doesn't sound right. If this guy fought against the Germans in World War II for the liberation of Ukraine, it means that if he fought against Russia for the liberation of Ukraine, it means that he was fighting on the side of Hitler, because that's how it was. So this journalist in England quickly started doing his research and whatsoever, and bam, the story came out. At the time the story came out, they arrested the journalist because they said it was fake news. He was spreading fake news and it was a conspiracy theory. But then they all found out that he was telling the truth. As we speak today, as of today, the Speaker of the House of Commons of Canada, Mr. Anthony Rota, has resigned. He's resigned, I think, about 3 weeks ago because of the scandal. It is so disgraceful, it's shameful. He resigned. And the president of Canada, Justin Trudeau, I think 2 weeks ago or so, 3 weeks ago, issued an apology to the rest of the world, to Jews and other minorities who suffer at the hands of Nazi Germany. They issue apology to all of them. And now the entire world wants this guy's head. The United States issue a statement already. They want to deal with him. Every other country wants this Nazi criminal head. It's because these were the people, the Waffen SS of Nazi Germany, of Hitler. They were the ones who were going into people's villages, raising, grazing it down, destroying people's homes, raping women and children, killing people. They were the ones who were marching, whole family, whole villages, whole cities, digging trenches, standing them up there and shooting them and killing them. They were the mass murderers. They were the rapists. They were the looters. They were the ones who were taking people to the gas chambers. So this guy is one of those who did all those horrible things, and he has slipped through the cracks all those years. And he thought he had gotten away with it. I saw another video at the honorary program. He was giving, the thumbs up. He was so happy, like almost praying to God that God, no, they got him, the long arm of the law. So hopefully one day, our older perpetrators who open pregnant women's stomach, who drug young boys, turn them into child soldiers and killing machines, who destroy their future, who rape young girls, who rape grandmothers as old as 89 years old, who destroy the entire country. It is our hope that one day, no matter how long it takes, justice will come knocking at the door. By the way, this guy, This honker guy is actually 98 years old. Can you imagine at 98 years old, his cover has been blown and everybody wants a piece of his head. They want his head on the platter. And I see him going to jail. I see him going to the War Crimes Court. Okay, so we'll move on. The next topic we want to look at here is next we want to look at the um, the crisis at the United States House of Representatives, the great United States of America. My people, does not have a speaker. About 2 weeks ago, going on the third week now, I think it was 2 Tuesdays ago, Representative Matt Gaetz of Florida, young, feisty, sharp, pulled a bloodless coup on the then speaker at the time, Kevin McCarthy, and Matt Gaetz and other conservative, far right conservative members of the House of Representatives at the US Capitol. They joined together with all Democrats in the House of Representatives and voted out Kevin McCarthy, the speaker. Kevin McCarthy is the one you see in the picture here holding, his. It was kind of shocking because even he didn't expect it. Because when Mark Gates had been agitating against him and said he must go, because Kevin McCarthy is seen like someone who is like in the middle. He's moderate in the middle, but sometimes he can go a little bit too left. Sometimes he tend to like appease the Democrats a lot. That's what his colleagues are saying. Sometimes he works with Joe Biden when other Republicans don't think they need to be working with him. And other Republicans were actually looking to stop the money and to freeze the national budget until President Joe Biden can make a commitment to close the southern border. As you all know, the southern border is a crisis going on there, and then to stop funding to Ukraine because conservatives in the House of Legislature feel that they got so much urgency at home and they're giving too much money, billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine. So Kevin McCarthy, he being speaker, I guess, found himself in a delicate place where he has to maintain that delicate balance. He has to try to work with his colleagues from the of the Republican Party, but then also try to do a bipartisan thing to also work with Democrats for some of these things. And some of the Matt Gaetz, Representative Matt Gaetz, and other Republicans accuse Kevin McCarthy of sometimes crossing deals with Democrats without their knowledge and consent. So Matt Gaetz pulled this coup, and the House rule is that the Speaker did not have to put on the floor that motion for that vote. That Matt Gaetz and the rest of them had to take up to abide by to remove him. They didn't have to. He didn't have to put it there. It's by law. But when Matt Gaetz threatened him, Kevin McCarthy, being a likable person over there, felt he was safe. He didn't think his position or job was threatened at all. So when Matt Gaetz told him, I'm going to make sure, I'm going to lobby, we're going to get a vote to vote you out, he said, sure, let's put it on the floor. In fact, let's put it on the agenda. Let's do it now. Let's do it tomorrow. Because he didn't think that Matt Gaetz and the rest of them were going to get the votes. Unfortunately, he put that issue on the agenda, on the floor, and it passed, and he was removed from his speakership position. This is the first time in the history of the United States that the speaker was removed from office in a vote of no confidence, led by his own party. So the media is calling Matt Gaetz a rebel representative. And what was funny is that Matt Gaetz last week, I think he was just mocking about, joking or so. he has said he nominates President Donald Trump as as speaker, but I think he was just messing about. And when I watched it, and I said, "Oh my God, I see Trump." I was also just joking. I said, "Oh my God, I see Trump going to the House of Representatives as speaker, and he's just going there for three people, for actually four people. One, he's going for Nancy Pelosi, former speaker, who is no longer speaker. He's going for Chuck Schumer, who is a majority senator in the House of Senate. He's going for Maxine Waters, and he's going for those girls that they called Ima and Ocasio Cortez. They call them the squad. He was going for those people, but I was just joking. It was just a joke, and I thought it was kind of funny when Matt Gates threw that in. So as we speak now, last week, two Republicans, because the seat is for Republicans, because they have the majority in the House of Representatives, so they get a speaker position. So last week, two Republicans, Steve Scalise, who is the second highest ranking Republican in the House of Representatives, threw in his hat for the speakership. Now, Steve Scalise is known to be, people love him in the Republican Party, and a lot of Americans love him. And they say he's a very good fundraiser. He raises a lot of money for the conservative movement in the Republican Party. And Jim Jordan, he's a little bit younger, and this is Jim Jordan. He's young, he's fiery, he's like a watered down Matt Gaetz. So Jim Jordan also threw in his hat for the speakership. Now Jim Jordan is the chairman of the House Judicial Committee, and he's pro-Trump, and he's one of those who've been behind this Hunter Biden laptop from hell scandal, and this Russian collusion, whatever it was. So Jim Jordan threw in his hat, and Steve Scalise threw his hat, and both of them didn't get the required number of votes. However, before the week was over last weekend, Jim Jordan finally Jim Jordan finally got the the votes he needed to be nominated as speaker by the Republican conference, by the rest of the Republicans. So Steve Scalise rather, has withdrawn his nomination since Jordan is now the forerunner. So Steve Scalise has withdrawn his nomination. So as we speak this week, I think it's Wednesday, they might be going to a vote to see if Jim Jordan will be voted as speaker, as the new speaker of the House of Representatives for the United States of America. Already, he will have to have the endorsement of the conservative conference, that is the Republican conference in the House. Already, he has met with some opposition. I think three of them are opposing his stance, and I think they do not like his close relationship with Donald Trump, and there's some other things. But people are saying that Jim Jordan is an effective leader, and he's also he can be moderate at times, but he's also no nonsense. I kind of like him. I like Jim Jordan, but I liked Kevin McCarthy. I like that he was more middle point type of guy. A little bit slow, but I thought, sometimes it's good to work across the aisle so that you get your agenda. And everybody, it can be a win-win situation where everybody is better that way to keep the peace. So we will be closely watching the Republican speakership situation crisis this week, and hopefully, good luck to Representative Jordan. Um, so finally, the president of Israel 2 weeks ago, actually 2 weeks ago, Benjamin Netanyahu declared that Israel is at war. For those of you who've been following international news, Israel was attacked 2 weeks ago by Hamas militants, I think, in the south of Gaza. You know, Gaza is shared by Palestinian and also Israel. And we saw some of the videos. The videos are really horrible and terrifying to see. I saw some of those videos. You know, babies are being beheaded, people are being abducted. Hamas militants are coming to people's homes door to door, you know, grabbing people, taking them away. I think they said 5 Americans, 3 or 5 Americans have now been taken hostage by the Hamas militants. And then Hezbollah, I think on the west, uh, also started attacking. Hezbollah and Israel have exchanged rockets, I think, on the western part of Gaza. So you can see the devastation, the physical devastation that's taking place. So many persons have lost their lives. It's terrible, it's horrible. The rest of the world need to come together quickly and end this. I'm not going into the politics of Israel and Palestine and the Arabs, but however way it goes, this is awful. To see militants go to people's homes from door to door, abduct people, take them away, and then murder them, murder children, behead babies. I don't care what your struggle is. We sympathize with your struggle, but it's, it's a no-no when you are killing people, killing babies, beheading babies, uh, killing pregnant women, killing the elderly, and in the name of your struggle, no, morality dictates that will stop and ask questions. So what is happening in Gaza is bad, it's horrible, and it needs to end. The world needs to come together quickly and bring this Israel and Hamas and Hezbollah Lebanon war to an end. So at this time, I would like to end my show for now, but I would like to make full disclosure that I do not have copyrights to the images, the pictures, and the videos that were shown in the show tonight. I do not have copyrights to the song that I played. The song, my theme song, was done by a Liberian musician who was an international musician. He played in Germany and other parts of Europe for years and years. He's now deceased. His name is Leonardo Chessin, aka Alahash. I knew Alahash personally as well. He was brilliant. He was fantastic. He was a great artist. So my theme song is actually, I actually chose one of Leonardo Chessin, aka Alhaj, music as my theme song, and the name of the song is Liberia Cries. And of course, I own no copyrights to any of the images that you saw here on the show tonight. So thank you for watching. We hope we were able to provide you with some needed information, at the same time, some entertainment. We will be coming to you live every Thursdays and Saturdays at 4 p.m. Sorry, at 6 p.m. So you can join us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, X actually, which is now former Twitter, which is now X. So you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, and X, former Twitter. Thank you for watching, and please follow us, leave your comments, let us know what you think of this first maiden edition of our show. We hope to get better. This is my first video. I hope I have done all of you public viewers justice. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much, and may God bless each and every one of you. This is Massa Washington. Bye bye.